Hello, 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 hello. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Join me, join me, join me. Join me. Let's have an interactive time. Let's have an interactive time. You know, when I look at people's sufferings, I try to look for patterns. You know, I try to look for patterns. I try to look for something that has been happening over and over and over again. You know, when I'm asking certain questions, because if someone is suffering, they definitely know they're suffering, yeah, and they want they want to be able to, pivot that suffering. Madam Leader, hey, good to have you. Good to have you. It's an honor to have you. Maybe in one of the future episode, maybe I'll have you as a guest. So let me just pin today's title. Today's title is Brutal, Unbiased, and Unadulterated Ancestral Investigation. Yeah, good morning, madam. I'm really, really so glad to have you here. We want to talk about ancestral investigation. You know, in my close to 4 decades of, living in this world, there's been occasions where I've had to ask certain questions from certain elders, and for some reason, they couldn't answer those questions. And because there's no way I was going to be satisfied with not having those questions answered, I kept at trying to, poke the universe. I kept, trying to read, trying to get my hands on certain books and all of that, just so I can get answers to those questions, which were the things that led me to where I am today in terms of um, always trying to critique and question the motives of people, the ideologies of people, the beliefs of people. Even if you think that it's your belief and all of that, I always like to question, and I always welcome questions as well. Whatever it is I'm saying, talking about, let us reason together. Let us, engage. If you think that I'm saying something that doesn't go down well with you, don't get offended. Just engage me. Just ask questions, because a lot of people are suffering. A lot of people are suffering, even though they are an alleged of this religion or that religion, but they are suffering nonetheless. But if it is proactive suffering, yeah, I mean, I like proactive suffering because, for instance, pain is one of the things, is one of the keys to opening the portals of creativity. For instance, when you do some kind of anaerobic exercise, maybe you do some push-up to the point where you feel some pain. That pain is good. That pain is sweet pain for your brain, sweet pain for your creative portal, creative faculty. And because, as creative beings, if we are not proactively initiating the creative portals, we're not going to be able to open up ourselves to the juices of creativity that we can use to create, new material realities. So pain is actually good. But when the pain is out of your control, when you're not the one who is able to initiate that pain on CUE, when you're not the one who is able to initiate that pain on cue, it becomes a problem. Yeah. So when I come in contact with people who maybe have been going through some kind of pain for extended period of time, maybe maybe physical pain, maybe health pain, maybe emotional pain, maybe even spiritual pain, yeah, maybe psychological pain, whatever it is, and it's been going on for way too long a period of time. There are certain questions I like to ask them, because see, as humans, we have a soul that is actually eternal. Yeah, we live in a body that is really not non-eternal, because I mean, once we die, for instance, our body goes back to its original form. Yeah, goes back to matter. It decays. Yeah, that's the word we use. It decays back to matter. Yeah, and that matter is going to be used for something else later, depending on the orchestrations of the universe, because in mother nature, universal forces are super intelligent, eternally intelligent, and certain things are wielded into motion on the back of universal forces. Now, talking about ancestral investigation, most especially as Africans, there is a lot of aberration to our consciousness as Africans. There is a lot of infiltrations, outside infiltrations, you know, um, that has caused us to be distracted from the fundamentality of our existence, the fundamentality of our heritage, what makes us truly powerful. Yeah. Now, in my book, Personal Discovery Secret, I talk about ancestral investigation, and I talk, I broke it down, to a certain extent, what it means, what ancestral investigation it means, and why it is important for every single one of us, most especially as Africans. Why ancestral investigation is important. I once had depression. And all my life I've only had depression once. I've only experienced depression once, because of something I was heavily invested in for more than 3 decades of my life, only to now realize, only for that thing now to disappoint me heavily. So it got me depressed. Now, before that time, I've always been someone who was interested. Master Be Cool, thank you so much for joining. Please stay with me. I've always been someone who has been interested in the concept of personal discovery, the concept of self-discovery, and also the concept of purpose discovery, because these are different phenomena. Yeah, they're all different. Self-discovery is different from personal discovery, which is different from purpose discovery. I've always been interested in it because when you come in, when you interact with people, when you come to the public place and you interact with people, and somebody is saying something to you based on their experience or based on their wisdom or based on their intelligence or based on their knowledge, and yeah, you listened, but once you left them and you're all by yourself, whatever it is that they said to you probably did not satisfy your soul, because we all have souls. We are souls, actually. We're living souls living in a body. We are souls living in a body and trying to have spiritual experiences. Yeah. Now, it is in the quality of the people that we have in our lives, the quality of the path that we intentionally toe, that will determine the quality of the spiritual experience that we are going to have. Now, there are a lot of people, Africans, who say they are Christians. I don't mind. Who say they are Muslims, and I see how that in itself can prevent them from exploring the core of their existence, the core of their soul, because I don't want to even go into that. But what I'm saying right now is that as an African, as a Nigerian, as a Ghanaian, as a South African, as a Kenyan, you know, as a Tanzanian, as an Ethiopian, whatever, as an African, you have a root. And your root is your power base. Your root is your most authentic power base. You see, if you've ever seen someone who have been able to explore their personal identity, authentic personal identity, they've been able to, it doesn't matter. I mean, there are not people who can easily be, easily feel, and easily be thrown off the balance of their personal identity. They have explored it. It has balanced in their hands. They have thrown it up. It has balanced in their hands. They know who they are. They know where they hail from. They know their source. You see, in agriculture, there's something called grafting, where you take a branch from another tree that is doing well, and you try to graft, or that is not doing so well, and you try to graft it to a stem that is doing well. Yeah. What is now going to be nurturing that branch is the nutrient from the root of the stem of that tree. See, the root is the most important thing. If somebody brings a branch from another tree and try to engraft it into another stem of another tree, it's most likely because that tree that it is being engrafted into is doing better than the tree that originally produced that branch. You see, you cannot afford to be an engrafted person. You can't afford directly to your source. That is how you are going to contact unstable power. That is your real power base as an individual. And if you are not, how do you start ancestral investigation? You start with your elders. You start with your parents. Your parents are parent elders. And if they are people who have been plugged into their ancestral legacy, they have one or two things to tell you about your ancestry. You need the information of your ancestry to frame your authentic personal identity, because you are the continuation of your ancestors. You cannot afford to allow strangers, outsiders, non-Africans to be the ones educating you about spirituality, for instance. You can't afford that. You can't afford strangers to be the ones, foreigners, foreign literatures to be the things that is educating you about your own ancestry. You can't do that. You can't do that to yourself. You need to be deliberate about engaging in the investigation of your roots. Like I said earlier, that is your power base. That is your authentic power base as an entity, as a human being. That is your authentic power base. So, and you see, the secret to having sustainable personal power is demonstrated on the back of how much precise information you have about your roots. Precisely, this is not assumption. You're not assuming that, oh, my ancestors are powerful. Okay, on what basis are you saying that? What precise things, what precise events took place in the 18th century, that was powered by your some of your ancestors down the line? What exactly happened? Was your ancestor a warrior during World War II or during World War One? Was part of your ancestors part of the people who went to that war during the intertribal war of the 19th century, of the 17th century? Where were your ancestors? What role did your ancestors play? You have to find out specific information about your ancestry. That is the only way you are not going to be bamboozled by all kinds of foreign thoughts, foreign ideologies. If you are firmly rooted in your own ancestry, if you're firmly planted on your own root, authentic root, that root is going to nourish you. It's going to nourish you with authentic content, the authentic content that helps you become an authentic entity. So it's pretty important that we understand the importance of the deliberateness of investigating our roots. And you cannot afford to be sentimental when it comes to your roots. There's a term I coined, the yin yang of your ancestry. There are good information about your ancestry and there are bad information. You need to get your hands on both information. You cannot be doing what was that term now? objective investigation. You have to do hardcore investigation, unbiased investigation. Everything about the different types of your ancestors, the different types of the people in your lineage, everything about them, you have to get your hands on those information, and then you now have to distill them based on your own current intelligence. You use those information to interact with your fellow brothers and sisters, and you get their own thoughts as well. Because maybe, more especially when you know that these people themselves are intentionally walking the path of their authentic spirituality. They're intentionally exploring their self discovery. They're intentionally exploring other aspects of discovery, like personal discovery, like purpose discovery, their ancestral discovery. They are already doing that. See, right now, more people are depressed in 2022. More people are experiencing depression in 2022 than at any other time since the history of humankind. That's to tell you something. Most especially because a lot of people are not really proactive about investigating their ancestry. That is your source. There's an adage that says that the river that forgets its source will dry off. See, depression is a symptom of disconnect. Depression is a symptom of disconnection from your root. See, and there is nothing anybody can do. There is nothing anybody can say to you that will serve as a substitute for your lack of connection with your roots. If it is not, like they say, if it's not Panadol, it's not the same thing as Panadol. Yeah. If it's not you authentically connected to your roots, just forget about it. Nothing else can replace it. I've heard people say that there's a God-shaped void in every human that only God can fill. What does that really mean? What does that really mean? I could easily say that there is an ancestral connection, ancestral connection void in you, that only your reconnection with your ancestral roots will satisfy or fill up that void. Your root is your root. Your root is authentic. It's authentic to you. It is an authentic identity to you. See, when you understand that there were bad people among your ancestors and there were good people among your ancestors, you would have peace of investigation. You are not trying to investigate so that you now come and say, oh, all your ancestors were good people. There were definitely bad people amongst our ancestors. They definitely were individuals, who were part of our ancestors, who lived in the 18th century, who lived in the 19th century, who were not good people. Your responsibility is to also find out about those people. You're not going to be doing objective selection or objective investigation. You're going to do holistic investigation. It's the yin yang of your history. You don't shy away from trying to find out the wrong things that some of your ancestors did, or the bad things, or maybe even the evil things that they did. It doesn't matter. Find out about those information. Those information will help to set up a power base for you, a personal power base for you as well. For instance, if I see a foolish person, I would know how not to be a foolish person. So if I investigate into my ancestry and I realize that there were certain things that some of my ancestors did that were flat out evil or bad, then I know what not to do. Then I know what not to do. So I'm not going to shy away from the fact that maybe any of my ancestors were evil. If they were evil, they were still my ancestors nonetheless. It's just that I've chosen not to be evil. I've chosen to walk ethical paths. I've chosen to do great things. I've chosen to uplift humanity. I've chosen to only do good to humanity, to my fellow brothers and sisters. But it doesn't mean that I don't have information, even about my own father, my own biological father. Certain things that he did that I'm not proud of. But he's my father nonetheless. Without his sperm, I would not be here. Without his sperm, I will not be here to have done all the good that I've done for people. And I will not be here to yet do more good for humanity, for this world. You see, there are information that I heard about my dad. He's late. He died in 1993. That I'm not proud of. But it doesn't mean that he's still not my father. It doesn't mean that I still will not regard him as my father. I must. Because he is ancestor. Doesn't mean that I'm going to go ahead and do what he did. Never. Never. You see, one of the things we should understand about the importance of ancestral investigation is because you are now the latest version of your ancestors. You are currently the latest version of your ancestors. So, when an app is created, every now and then there is an upgrade version. Yeah. You are the upgrade version of your ancestors. For you to really be the upgrade version of your ancestors, you must investigate your ancestry. That's the only way you are going to truly be the best version yet of your ancestors. Because you didn't just fall from nowhere. You hailed from a dynasty. You hailed from a lineage. And you can't say that, whatever they were doing, you hailed. Your DNA came out from those people. You can't say that, because any person in your ancestry was evil. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You are the upgrade of the previous versions of your ancestors. You are now the upgrade version. You are expected to be the best version yet of your ancestors. The manifested best version. But if you do not have information about your ancestors, your ancestry, how are you going to become the best version? Isla probably have descendants, probably have children or maybe grandchildren who are great guys or great ladies right now, even though their father or grandfather was evil, was the father of World War II. Probably one of the grandsons will have said, man, I'm never going to be like my grandfather. And then he decided, but he had the information about his grandfather. That's not an excuse. That maybe you find out something about your ancestry that is not so, that you are not so proud of. It doesn't matter. Investigation is investigation. What you find is what you find. You cannot, you see all this doctoring, trying to doctor what if you find out about the deities, for instance, of your ancestors, it doesn't mean that you want to become an Ifa priest or anything like that. You just basically want to be able to distill information that you are going to use to power the better version, the better version of your ancestry. A lot of people don't understand when I say investigate your ancestry. They feel that I'm trying to say, go and become an Ifa worshipper, or go and become an Ogun worshipper, or go and become an Amadeo worshipper, or whatever. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not an Ogun worshipper, even though the deity of my lineage is Ogun. But I'm not an Ogun worshipper, because Ogun was a human being. Whether you like it or not, Ogun is part of my ancestors. As an Ijebu man, Ogun is part of my ancestors, so I found out a lot of things about him. Even though he was deified, it doesn't matter. He was one of my ancestors. And if he did any evil thing to you, any human being, I'm not going to do those things. But I need those information for crafting an authentic self-identity. A lot of people are suffering identity crisis because no one is telling them this. No one is guiding them on the path to investigating their roots. Your root is your root. You can't run from it. It is you. Your root produced you. All of the ideologies that are flying about, on the internet, off the internet, about certain things I don't want to talk about so that some people will not get offended, it's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it at all. You need to understand that you must do You must be deliberate about investigating your roots. You must be deliberate about it. That is the only way you are going to have authentic spiritual identity. That is the only way you're going to unveil your authentic spiritual identity. When we say spirituality, some people think, oh, it means, oh, I go to church, I've read the Bible, and I read the Bible every morning and every evening. That is their definition of spirituality. That is not, most especially as an African. Investigating your root is a spiritual practice. Finding information about your ancestors is a spiritual practice, man. Let nobody deceive you. You are going to unveil a certain level of power base that you cannot compare to anything else you've ever unveiled or you've ever stumbled upon. Having conversation with your elders is a spiritual practice, most especially the elders who have information about their ancestors that they can pass over to you. That is a spiritual practice. That is spirituality. It is not prayer, not just praying. You call yourself a prayer warrior. That is not necessarily spirituality. I don't want to say certain things, but you see, I know that we're eventually going to have a forum where we are going to go deep into these discussions, because I mean, I meet a lot of people every day, and I try to say something in this line, and they're pushing it back, like maybe I'm speaking some abomination, whereas I'm only concerned about people's personal power. I'm only concerned about them crafting personal power paths for themselves, when nobody can bamboozle them, no one can tell them any lies. Yeah, Mr. Maker, Africans were doing well until Europeans came with the Bible. We need to go back to our roots. Absolutely. 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 And I'm not trying to antagonize anybody. I'm just trying to spell out the facts, the universal facts. The universal facts. There is nothing in this life, for as long as I keep on this path of self-discovery, personal discovery, purpose discovery, spirituality, and I say spirituality is in discovering, there is enough information about my ancestors to be discovered that will take me 100 years to discover. So there is enough to furnish me on my authentic spirituality journey. I'm going to travel to Haiti, for instance. I'm going to travel to Mali. I'm going to travel to Egypt, because that is the requirement for authentically towing the path of spirituality as an African. I've been to Ife. I'm going to go to Ife, Ile-Ife multiple times. Ancient sites in Africa. I'm going to tour all those ancient sites, because those ancient sites have imprints of our ancestors. That is spirituality. Don't let anybody bamboozle you. I'm talking personal power here. I'm not trying to bring you into any religion. I don't have any religion I'm trying to bring you into. I'm not trying to start a church. I'm just trying my best to equip my African brothers and sisters with authentic information that will equip them for the emergence of their personal power. You are powerful. And the powerful, telling you you're powerful is not some cliche statement. As an African, you are powerful beyond measure. But the issue is the Caucasian design propaganda that is everywhere, that is dulling our consciousness, that is making us not want to be interested in exploring our authentic identity. That's why. Every now and then I think about my Africans. I think about how that men, they're so sold out, they're so plugged into these propagandas, these Caucasian sponsored propagandas. And I'm like, man, I wish these people can just wake up. I wish they can just be daring enough to explore and investigate their ancestry. Then they will find that the richest man to have ever lived is not Solomon, but Mansa Musa. They will find a lot of things about their powerful ancestors who were actually architects of civilizations. It's pretty important. See, when you make up your mind as an African that I want to explore and investigate my ancestry, you are going to see, even the Google, the so-called Google.com, the so-called company called Google, came to Africa to investigate Ifa, the Ifa enlightenment system. That was what they used to create Google. But you people are Africans. You are busy thinking that all things African is bad. All things African is evil. You allow yourself to be programmed into demonizing your ancestors. Yet you know nothing about them. When I meet an individual, once we have, I meet an individual for the first time, and then once we have, exchanged pleasantries and, we've done the formality exchange, what I want to find out from that person is, number one, their level. If they've even kickstarted their self-discovery journey, if they have kickstarted their personal discovery journey, if they have discovered a purpose that they have aligned themselves with. A purpose is something that is bigger than you, that is bigger than your lifetime, that is bigger than your family. That is what makes it a purpose. Yeah. If they have kickstarted their self-discovery, personal discovery, and purpose discovery journey, and I want to know where they are, where they are right now on on that journey. I ask them, what do you know that was not told to you by your parents, that was not told to you by your teachers, that was not told to you by your religious leaders, that was not told to you by media? That is how I know someone who have come to a certain level of consciousness, authentic consciousness. They have come to their personal power. They're now wielding their personal power. It's pretty important that we get ourselves committed to investigating our ancestry. See, I plan to live to be 118, and people say, are you God? And things like that. But, well, that is my plan. I plan to live to be 118. And I'm 37 right now. From now to 118, I'm going to stay committed to investigating my ancestry. My ancestry as a Yoruba man, my ancestry as an Ijebu man, my ancestry as a member of the Ogumba family, member of the Azan family, my ancestry as a Black man, as an African. You see, there are different ancestries to explore. My ancestry, it's different ancestries to explore. And this information is even going to be useful, even as an entrepreneur and as a business person. Because see, when we talk about branding, for instance, in business, we're talking about that peculiar thing that separates you from other people in your industry. You see, your authentic identity can play a role in the crafting of a powerful business brand or entrepreneurial brand. You guys don't even understand what I'm talking about. You don't understand how that you can even use the information you get on, from investigating your ancestry for business. Most of these billionaires, they have ancient manuscript that they bought. I heard about the Leonardo da Vinci's manuscript that Bill Gates bought. I think that was 2006 or something, for $20 million. Why do you think they're buying those manuscripts? They are committed to investigating their ancestry. Why won't you be committed to investigating your own ancestry as well? Why would you allow some Caucasian design propaganda tell you or make you demonize your own ancestors? Nothing in this life can make me demonize my ancestors. Nothing. I don't care what evil they did. That was then. That was them. I'm here on the scene now as their best version, the best version of my ancestors. Without Africa, there will be no rest to the world. Africa is the root. Absolutely. The rest of the world are just branches. Black is not a color. Black is the essence from which all other colors come from. I love that. Thank you, Mr. Emeka. So it's pretty important that we understand what we are doing as Africans. There is a lot to be uncovered, a lot. That's why I'm an advocate of personal education. That's why I tell people that my kids, I'm gonna homeschool and life school them. There is enough information with me already to turn and nurture my children into functional geniuses, universal geniuses. They will know about their roots, they will know about their ancestors, they will know about entrepreneurship, they will know about how to make money for themselves at very young age, and they won't need school. They will know about financial literacy. They'll know about wealth building, the components, the universal components for wealth building, for wealth creation. They'll know about all these things. Which teacher do I need to send them to teach them all these things? I'm their teacher. And that's why I'm also going to be proactive about the kind of woman I marry. She also has to be a co-teacher to my kids. You see, so it's pretty important that we understand the role, the universal role that investigating your ancestry plays in the crafting of your personal identity. Very, very important. What we see when you listen to all these motivational talks, motivational messages, motivation is not enough if you have not proactively started investigating your own roots. Motivation is not enough. Make no mistakes about it. Motivation is not enough. Motivation is not enough. It is so grossly insufficient. Understand that your root is your essence. Your root is where you hailed from. Nothing could stop you from hailing from that root. That was where you hailed from. And if you disconnect from that root, man, why would you not be depressed? Why would you not experience depression? Why would you not? You see a lot of, I don't want to mention their religion. You see a lot of such people who, even though they go to those religious places, they go every Sunday, maybe they go multiple times in a week, 2 times in a week, 3 times in a week. These people are still battling with depression. I know a lot, and I'm talking from experience. It's not just hearsay. I know a lot of people. But when you try to give them the antidote to their depression, they have been programmed to reject such an information. Which is what, the information that is guaranteed of permanently taking them out of depression. Depression is real, I know. I mean, to the point that people can be having suicidal thoughts. You see, the void is, the soul void is what creates depression. When you are not connected to your authentic roots, that's what creates depression, nothing else. Now, I've said that I won't be taking too much time, so I just want to leave you with this quote, and then we can have question and answer. If anybody has any question, then we can have the question and try to address the question. But if you don't have any question, then we'll just end the episode. So I wrote this now. I said it's better to fail at being original. It is better to fail at originality than to succeed at being an imitation. You are an original, man. You're an original. And if you fail at being original, so be it. But you see, I prefer someone who failed at trying to be original, trying to be their true true self, than someone who is trying to imitate, who is trying to succeed at being an imitation. So I thought that this episode is important. Investigating your roots, travel to your village. Don't think that there are village people that will kill you. You know what? If you feel that there are people you are afraid of village people, invite me. Let's go together. Let's go to the village together. See, a lot of times it is the psychological programming that kills people. Their negative psychological programming that harms them, and not necessarily. It was nice hearing you. Thank you so much, Olemo Chole. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. We do this every Sunday by 11 a.m. Sunday School Interaction Series. and this is the fourth episode. And my goal with this series is to interact with my fellow brothers and sisters, and we can have some serious, difficult discussions that most people always try to shy away from. Yeah, and I believe that on the back of that, people get liberated can get liberated spiritually. They can find spiritual freedom, and that's how depression is conquered, as far as I'm concerned, because I have experienced it before myself, and I know what it feels like. I know what the experience feels like, and I know it's not nice. Yeah, I know teenagers who have experienced depression. Teenagers, I know those in their 20s who have experienced depression. Some currently experiencing it, and there is no need for them to be doing that, so long as they can figure out how to connect with their authentic roots. Depression will just become, it will just easily become something that will never reoccur. Something that will never reoccur. Sarah says, I used to believe that village people. Okay, I used to believe that village people rubbish. In fact, I don't know my extended family's house. Man, you need to start setting up plans to see. I have a robust West African tour right now. I've already taught certain I've been to Oluma Rock. I've been to a couple of places. I've been to Idonre Hills. I've been to a couple of places. I've been to Ileife, but I have a robust West African tour bucket list. And most of the places I want to tour in West Africa are places that has to do with my ancestry as a black man, as a West African. All the places I want to tour in Nigeria are things that helps me. Mr. Jide, thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate you for joining. It's time for we Africans to wake up and take back our senses and decolonize the mental slavery that's been inflicted upon us for centuries. Absolutely. 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 We can't keep on, playing kiss ass to people whose ancestors came to learn from our ancestors. Oxford was founded 1035. Ancient African education system was what built the ancient Benin Kingdom, was what built the pyramid of Giza, was what built all the pyramids of Sudan, all the pyramids in Egypt. It was our ancient African civilization that the ancestors of Europe came to learn from before they could come up with their own education system. But most of our African brothers and sisters don't even know this. You find them playing kissers. They want to japa, Yeah, I know there is insecurity in Nigeria right now because of bad political leadership, because of mediocre political leadership. Does that mean that I will now run away? I would rather emerge as a leader, or align with people who have great plans, great visions for Africa. I'm not going to japa. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I don't care the level of insecurity. That is an opportunity for me as an entrepreneur to come up with solutions to security. That's the way I've been thinking. That's the way I think. Africa is the mother continent of the earth. And if you refuse to investigate your ancestry, there is no way you're going to know. There's no way you're going to find out this information about these great people, these great ancestors of yours, who were actually architects of civilization. There is no way. So, do we have any question? I'm really grateful for everybody who joined. Thank you so much. Spread the word. This is not just about me. I want us to, interact. I want us to get the conversation going. Let's help our fellow brothers and sisters, to emerge, to emerge as authentic Africans. Let's help them. Let's help them. We're not trying to get their money. We're not trying to get them to pay us money or anything like that. This is about building our continent. This is about taking our continent back from folks who have plundered it for centuries. You know, there is nothing an American can tell me about my continent, about my ancestors. There is nothing they can tell me. Everything I need to know about Africa is in Africa. Everything I need to know about Africa is in Africa. So if there is any information I need about any component of Africa, I go to the spot, I go to the location in Africa. I go to meet the elders in that location in Africa. And if there are documented pieces of literature by our ancestors, then those are the documents I want to read. Those are the documents I want to peruse, not the doctored literature to get me to demonize my ancestors. It's not going to happen. It used to happen in the days of my ignorance, but it's never going to happen now or anytime in the future. So, do you have any questions? Sarah says the truth is that it takes a lot of work. Yes, absolutely, a lot of work, my sister. A lot of work. Even when you separate yourself from religion, you will not realize there are lots of garbages left in your subconscious still controlling your life. Absolutely, absolutely. You definitely will need to decolonize, decolonize your soul, decolonize your mind. Yeah, it's a lot of work. But once you proactively do the work, you are going to be the one to enjoy the dividends of doing that work. That's a beautiful thing about work, about the concept or the phenomenon of work. Thank you so much. It was a privilege getting to know you. Well, we are just getting started. Okay, any question? Any question? Because before I call it the wraps for the day, any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Does anybody have any question? For those of us who are joining us, who are just joining us now, there'll be a broadcast. So just go through it. I'm sure that it will bless you. It will enlighten you. And if you have any question, I haven't gone through it. Just ask it. And I'll do my best to answer it to the best of my ability, to the best of my knowledge. So question. In the next few minutes, let's try and do some Q&A session. Does anybody have any question, or does anybody have any suggestion? What do you think future episodes should look like? Let me hear from you. I love that I've heard from you already, but let me know if there is any question. Let me know if there is any suggestion or comments, additional comment that you'd like to make. Is there any? Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, is there any? If there is none, then I'm going to be ending this broadcast in the next 30 seconds. I really, really appreciate you guys for joining me. I couldn't have done it without you, because I'm not here to just talk to myself. It's called Sunday School Interaction Series. So, yeah. So, yeah. Watch the broadcast. Have a date with me every Sunday, 11 a.m. And we have a short conversation around a specific topic that borders on spirituality and the subject of the human soul. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Jide. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So without further ado, Mr. Mika says, I've just mentioned some of my friends. We're going to have more interactions next session. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Mr. Mika. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. This is not about me, like I said. It's about us. It's about us. This has been a long time in planning. I've always wanted to do something like this. I've always wanted to have this kind of discourse or initiate this kind of discourse, because people are just shying away from having this discussion. I enter different fora. I was still on TikTok yesterday night. I went to bed around to 4 because we were having this discussion, about the Bible or no Bible. And I was like, man, these are my African brothers and sisters, still lost, still caught up in the web of Caucasian propaganda. No, we need to do something about it. We need to do something about it. And I'm happy that I'm getting some engagement from you guys. Let's spread the word. Let's make this a gathering place for mature minds, where we can have difficult conversations and not feel insecure to have those conversations. We need to have difficult conversations. difficult conversations. Thank you so much, everybody. So I'll see you next week by 11 a.m. Please, if you can share this, also share it as well. Share this broadcast, share it to your stories, share it to your timeline. You can copy the link and send it personally to a friend. Let them watch it, and I'll appreciate that. Thank you so much, everybody. Blessings, blessings, peace, and power. Blessings, peace, and power. Thank you, Instagram. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, LinkedIn. Thank you, Twitter. Thank you, YouTube. See you next week. Salute to everybody.